to another art therapy podcast from us. But now, today we are at UCSI University studio. Thank you so much UCSI for having us here. And yeah, we are back with another two panel speaker for our today art therapy podcast, which is the topic we're gonna talk about self-expression and self-worth. So like, okay, self-expression, self-worth, apa tu kan? Penting ke, ada kena mengena ke kan? So today we have this two speaker, Sophia, which is she gonna introduce herself, and also Robin, she also gonna introduce herself. So Sophia is a freelance and under Sheets Mental Health Fighters, and Robin is under UCSI representative. So yeah, please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, my name is Sophia. I am a dancer and a personal trainer with a background in contemporary circus. And what would you like to know? What should I introduce?
Yeah, I mean your background, and how do you think your career help you in increasing your self-worth or valuing your self-worth in healthy self-expression?
For me, I found dance when I was a baby. I mean, I started kicking and dancing in my mum's belly. But I found dance as a means of expression. It wasn't just a hobby for me. It was also something that I found a lot of joy in. However, obviously, trying to pursue a career in the dance industry was very difficult. But as a result, I found personal training and the gym, and that became a much more lucrative business for me. However, I still dance, I still teach, I still perform when I can, and I'm trying to get creative again. But in the meantime, I've reached a point in my life to express myself through dance in a way that is also accessible for other people, and allowing bodies that don't necessarily have access to the dance sphere to be able to move as well, maybe not in the traditional sense, but in the way that is authentic to them.
So in your own definition, you don't need to be a dancer to dance.
Yeah.
Right. So how is it helping you with your mental health?
Dance has always been my self therapy, has been my sanctuary, has been my place to go when it is time to be in solitude, but I feel comfortable. But at the same time, I say that dance also challenges me, because obviously I'm not so trained like some professional dancers, so I set that bar up very high for myself. But at the end of the day, it's about how I'm feeling and what it makes me feel like.
That's much more important. Thank you so much, Sophia, to be part of this conversation. And yes, Robin.
Oh yes. So my name is Robin, and I'm from the UCSI University Masters of Clinical Psychology. So I'm part of the outreach program, and I'm in collaboration with WIP Healing. So do I say the same thing?
Yeah. What's your term or your expression in terms of self-worth, and what's your key take in self-worth?
Oh yeah. Okay. So one of my expressions is actually also drawing. Surprise. So I also, like, for her, when she was a baby, she was dancing. I was like, I don't know, drawing.
Drawing your placenta?
Well, not the placenta, not the placenta. But when I was out, like as a child, like my mom would like throw toys, like give me toys, instead of like plushies and like soft toys. I'll pick up the crayon instead, and I'll like doodle. Yeah.
Get
so.
Your hand messy lah.
Yeah, I'm a very messy child, but hopefully not now. But yeah.
It's okay. We're still adult, and we have this messy side. I mean, everyone needs to connect with their inner child at some point, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think anything you want to add on, like what's your specialty in clinical psychology? I believe clinical psychology got different.
Okay.
Your specialty in the CP area.
All right. Not really specialty, but my interest. my interest in clinical psychology is with teenagers or young adults who have struggles with their self and like their experiences with how they deal trauma and how would they navigate through it. So that is one of my interests, and also like how would parents influence their children in the long term. So like even though they moved out of their family, like how does their parenting style to influence them to this day? Yeah.
We're gonna touch a bit in terms of that. You're gonna give us some perspective, and
Oh.
we're gonna talk it out from our own.
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
So yeah, before we start our discussion, we're gonna do our own art therapy for today. So today activity is like much more hands-on creativity where we create a letter to ourselves.
Right.
Like if you are you know, like imagine what you would say to your younger self, you know, or how do you see like yourself value now, before and after, or maybe before this. Like for me, yeah, I struggle a lot with my own self-confidence, my own self-worth. But once I start doing my own healing, I learn a lot about how certain trauma affected how I see myself and how I see my own self-confidence, why I'm being so hard on myself. So yeah, I think today we're gonna, you know, while we discuss about it, we're gonna create like these quick letters to ourselves. Our two topics for today, self-worth, emotional expression, and how is it like correlate with each other. So the first question is, from your own definition, Sophia and also Robin, what is self-worth and why is it important?
Would you like me to go first, or would you like to go first?
I think you can go first.
I think personally, self-worth is a very difficult definition to conjure up, simply because it does differ from person to person. I'm still grappling with what it means to me, but asking me now in this very moment, it is the value I assert on myself, not what others dictate on me. That self-worth is extremely important in your day-to-day life. It basically defines how you're gonna behave with other people. It helps to show you what you see yourself and how others should treat you as a result. If you see yourself as worthy, others will see you as worthy. If you this is transposed into your social life, into your romantic life, into your family life, into your work life. Every sphere of your life encompasses your self-worth to some degree, because at the end of the day, we need to treat ourselves the way we want to be treated, and we need to treat ourselves in how we would like to treat others. I think if you're gonna be cruel to someone, you don't want to be cruel to yourself. If you do, then obviously there's some deeper lying issue. But
which is, I think, most of the people who are, you know, struggle with their own self-worth,
yeah,
they treat people poorly.
yes,
Right.
Yeah.
and I think that comes from your upbringing, from your parenting,
Environment.
and your environment. Yeah. Was there a second part to your question?
Why is it important?
Why is it important? I think I kind of addressed that. Why?
Why is it like it's comprehending one
Yeah.
definition?
And that evolves over time. Like your self-worth, what you see yourself as worthy, or how you see yourself as worthy and valuable, will change over time. What I thought I needed 2 years ago is different to what I realize I need now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because we keep growing, we keep changing, right? So
Yes.
our perspective and our experiences keep changing over the time,
Yes.
right? So definitions of self-worth also grow along the time. So some people might say, oh, I value self-worth as like, oh, when when I able to achieve something, when I have a certain XX something,
Yes.
that I can go travel. So because people relate self-worth with self-love that kind of way. Like if you have achieved this, you are, I deserve to be loved or spend my love like this, right?
Yes.
Which is for me, it's kind of like what do you call it? It's kind of ironic, like you know,
Ironic,
how
yeah.
how does self-love require you in a materialistic way? Right?
Right.
It should be unconditional love.
Yeah.
Maybe because we grow up in a setting where, in order for us to love or receive love, we need
Yeah,
to
it's like an exchange, right?
it's an exchange. So that's why we treat ourselves like that as well, right? So
Right.
yeah, for you, maybe what
I
can
quite like your definition because like it's to be human is to be able to change, to be able to adapt. So I feel like that ties in very well with like how a person can evolve with their self-worth, and also like I like to add on that self-worth, self-esteem, and self-efficacy. So what self-efficacy is that it's someone who has like the belief that they can overcome a situation and be resilient. Basically confidence lah, you want to put in layman terms.
correct.
But I feel like self-efficacy is quite an important word because it builds a person's self-worth, right? So when you have that confidence, that belief in yourself, your self-worth will also be quite big lah, right? So I believe that to have self-worth is to be able to accept yourself and also have the belief and confidence in yourself to handle things that come in your way, whether good or bad. Yeah, it's like the ability to handle. I think that's having a good self-worth.
And I think the importance part of you know, value or even aware about our self-worth by time to time is to be aware where are we at, you know, like self-awareness at a certain age. Maybe like when we're at 20s, our self-awareness is maybe like 50% only. Right? So should be like whenever you getting older or like getting age, we should have more self-awareness. But I think like today in the society, age doesn't
Yeah, age is
doesn't-
not like a good measure. You could be
age
like
doesn't measure
Yeah, I know
anything anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because we can have like, we can be in 40s but have like 20-old mindset.
Right.
Yeah. Like traumatics uphold that.
Yeah, it depends on like, because nobody lives the same life, right? Like everyone have different experiences. So these different experiences can create like different, how do you say, like adaptations in your behavior, like your resiliency, like how are you able to bounce back from things. Maybe someone who has experienced some traumatic event when they were very young, they could, with like enough resilience, they can be able to overcome and become like a stronger adult when they're older. But maybe someone, even though they encountered trauma when they were younger, but sometimes they're not able to bounce back, and then they would have adopt like adverse behaviors, like not really beneficial behaviors that would exert like bad, let's say bad, kind of like, I wouldn't like to say bad behaviors, but harmful behaviors to themselves. So it is also important to create like a good output for your feelings and an expression for yourself. Yeah.
And then that's where you find dance really helps you to grow as a person as well, right?
Yeah, I think any artist knows that when they have their craft, it's the only space that they feel safe and without judgment. I think we live in a very judgmental world. Humans are naturally very judgmental. And now, yeah, and now with social media,
everything is crazy.
Yeah, and I was listening to a podcast this morning discussing the subject of therapy speak, and this whole ethos of like people feel authorized to give therapy online, even if they're not certified therapists, and that bothers me a lot. And it's all this. Actually, the conversation's always about you need to set your boundaries, you need to give yourself love, and I just think that's all necessary, but you're not a qualified like psychologist, therapist, or
like life coach.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think there is some
That's true.
value in that, but that shouldn't be you shouldn't just take a quote from Instagram and be like, yep, my life is sorted because I now know how to put boundaries up. Because again,
Yeah,
life,
people can manipulate that word as boundaries as like
yeah, and life happens. Like things happen that you can't predict and that you cannot plan and that you cannot control. In dance, I think it's a space for me to allow myself to lose control but still be in control.
yeah.
And I realized when I started taking therapy last year how much I need to be in control all the time, and it helped me realize that there are a lot of things that I cannot control, and I have to accept that. And I think that's in response to what you were saying earlier, with regards to self-efficacy, that you need to be, how do you manage yourself, and what's the best way to respond to a situation that you can or cannot control.
Right.
Whereas dancing for me allows me to be in, to some capacity, in control, because it's a space I know where I'm most confident, but it's also a space where I can lose control, because it's like, I guess, when someone bungee jumps, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't, but you know you have the cord, so there is some level of like safety net in that respect, but you're still losing control by falling.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's like finding balance within letting go and also taking charge where you let go.
yeah,
Right.
yes,
Right.
yeah. So dance has helped me with that a lot.
So for you, maybe because I think what Sophia said is actually falls under second questions, which is a healthy emotional expression can actually improve our self-worth, right?
Yeah.
So for you, in a clinical perspective, how do you see this, ways, or what are the ways of a healthy emotional expression that can improve our daily self-worth?
So like, because if you're able to find, like, for instance, her way is to dance. So dance is something that everyone can do, and like there's no wrong or right way to do it. And like it can be quite beneficial because you're more in tune with your body. You're able to like express, like match your mind with your body in a sense. Like you can move the way you want to move. So yeah, it does give a amount of control, and it does give like this cathartic release of feeling that you've been, like, a person would be bottling up inside. Like in your case, any stress or emotions, you can just dance it out. Like there's no issue. So for me, I think that's a very good, like, how you say, like a type of coping skill in a sense. Yeah, so I believe that that is quite beneficial. There are also like other ways, like what we're doing now, art. We're expressing ourselves, there's no harm in anything, and then we can just do anything. Like there's no wrong or right way. So I believe that that is a very positive way to.
But what is your key take of, like, this Gen Z millennials movement where party is one way of lifestyle? Like cool people go to party, you work hard, you play hard, and then
I party at home by myself. I don't need nobody else.
Yes, I mean
in my bedroom.
that kind of like, like healthy party. You don't need like intoxicating substance for your body to have fun. Like some people are using it as like,
Yeah, they get like
coping mechanism, and of course it's a long-term effect. So
yeah.
what do you think? Like, okay, this is the scenario of some people using it as their coping mechanism without they realizing it. I mean, they're using it because it's just like simple things like drinking.
Yeah, drinking. Yeah,
Like,
there's like
it's a
alcoholism.
alcohol. It's a culturally acceptance within whole world. Right?
Yeah.
So how do you think, like, we can, like, detach from that kind of mindset? Like, you still can have fun even if your body is not intoxicated and you still can like, you know, like is there any like long term
Other
effect?
expressions,
Yeah,
yeah.
other expression is one thing, and is it like long term effect? Maybe you can explain a bit the long term effect that can affecting people who struggle with self worth or like self confidence.
All right. So like people who struggle with self-worth and self-confidence, if they have no like safe or healthy way to cope, like the example you brought is like alcoholism or clubbing, like it may lead to unwanted situations to some people, like unfortunate situations. And it also like not only affects like the mind psychologically, it also affects the brain because like you know there's a lot of intake of like drugs, alcohol, and other things, and like this unhealthy because this is like their only outlet to express like positive emotions, so they get like used to it and there is like no other way for them to express. So most important thing is for them to first realize themselves and also give them an option to explore multiple things. You know, we can't force them like, hey, you know, that's bad, like stop doing
People
that.
are definitely gonna
Yeah, they'll be like,
okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna do more.
Yeah, yeah.
Rebel this type of mindset, right? So,
Right. So we need to provide like multiple options for them and also like just help them realize unfortunately we cannot like push them, you know, if they don't want to seek help, we cannot do anything about that. But it is still good to try to be there for them, try to like guide them in a way. Yeah.
this kind of like maybe because some people feels like
Mm.
they know they struggle with these heavy emotions or feelings,
Yeah.
but then they're just not ready to deal with it yet.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true.
That's why they choose that kind of like coping mechanism.
Mm.
And I think definitely that kind of lifestyle has affected some people's self-worth in some way,
Yeah.
which is like, you know, the lifestyle of
Yeah,
hookup culture.
There are multiple things, like you mentioned hookup culture. A lot of these types of activities is very, it's a way like they get like social, they get a lot of benefits lah, you know, like, you know, pleasure, social, and then activities, things to fill up their time. So without like alternative activities, they will engage in these types of activities instead. So some people, you know, they might not find like they do not establish like healthy bonds maybe early in their life. So they found like maybe the only way for them to find a relationship, whether it's like romantic or not, is like through that. So we need to try and help them like
to understand that it's much more.
there are other ways.
There are other ways.
Yeah.
Life is just much more what they see in their circle environment, which is, you know, that's the I think it's
more
we say social media influence as well.
yeah, there's social
media influence as well, right?
But
Yeah.
I'd like to add that this culturally, since even beyond social media, we've got, with globalization, the world has become a lot more consumerist, and our self-worth is now asserted through, or it's more, we associate our self-worth based on like what you said earlier, success. Have I achieved this? Have I bought myself an apartment yet? Like that means I've succeeded in life, therefore I'm worthy. And then with capitalism and colonialism, which I can never divorce the conversation from, I will say that we, as a result, have not only assigned our self-worth based on our material wealth and our social capital, we also are drawn to violence as a society. We are drawn to action films and like gore and abuse and it's romanticized to the point where we now feel like, oh, to love means like it's pathetic. It's like it's like you're pathetic for loving more. You're
pathetic if you love genuinely.
Like if you're seen as less because you love, you have a heart. And I just read an incredible book by Bell Hooks called All About Love, and this idea that love is something that should be celebrated. We should actually see a lot more content, not just on social media because it was written before like the advent of Instagram, but films need to be about love, not like romantic comedies, not that kind of love, but what does love actually mean beyond like a noun? It is an action. It's to love someone, to love something is actually so meaningful. And we don't grant ourselves the courtesy or the grace to love ourselves either.
Right.
And when we focus so much on our self-worth being on how much money we have, how much capital we have, what our status is in society, it detracts us from like the bigger issues, and then we don't get that fulfillment. That's why people keep buying things, because they're like, oh, I'm not granted this love as a child, therefore I'm going to keep buying this stuff, and that's a trauma in itself. I think I don't want to say it's a right or wrong way of executing self-love, but it can't be just that, because the day you run out of money and you can't buy yourself that, like, how are you going to love yourself then if you don't have all of that? So it is really important.
Because I think like myself personally, on my own experience, before I start my own healing journey, I value myself as someone who are career oriented, as like, you know, you deserve this when you achieve like this, you know. So when I come at the point where I am unable to work, it feels like I feel so worthless. I feel like there's no point of living anymore. And when we came, or we sit at that kind of situation where we feel like, you know, like I have no function in the society, like,
right.
I'm unable to work, right? So it feels like, I don't have that
Nothing to
much
offer.
nothing to offer.
The world.
And like some people like, oh, it's okay, you can always tweak it out through, like, you know, through you know, relationship. You always can like vent it out in a different kind of source of opportunities, instead of just focusing on like work and career base. But luckily for me, I don't value relationship as the counterpart of
work and self-worth.
Yeah, I value my own heart, my own hard working, and my own effort.
Your own achievements.
Yeah, my own achievement. There, I feel like, I deserve to spend this money because it is my own hard work.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe because of the way of growing up, such a you know, it developed this kind of self-independence,
And I mean, like, that's not to detract from the fact that if you were denied those luxuries as a child, you want to grant that to yourself now, because you've reached a place where you do feel you're worthy of that. And I don't want to ever take that away from someone. But I know that I was, as humble as my upbringing was, I was also extremely privileged in terms of my racial identity, and my education. But at the same time, because I went to a private rich school for free, with a mum who was teaching there, I had friends who were very rich, and I knew I wouldn't have access ever really to the wealth. And like, you know, a friend of mine lost 200 ringgit on a school trip, and she was like, whatever, and she was like 12 years old, and I was like, 200 ringgit?
12 years old?
Like, hello? I'm lucky if I get 10 ringgit to buy some nasi lemak for my day, okay? And that was when nasi lemak was 2 ringgit back in the day. My God.
Wait, back in the days when I was like 10 years old, I lost 50 ringgit. My mom whacked me like hell.
Listen, I
50 ringgit.
found 50 ringgit in Genting Highlands once. I was like, that's mine.
Jackpot, let's take it, God.
I'm so rich now. What can I buy?
Exactly.
And now I forgot my point. But yeah, no, I completely forgot my point. I think in terms of like, I think I've been very humbled, and having, to some degree, eventually my dad could afford like luxuries, like 5-star hotels. So I enjoyed that. But I also knew, because of my upbringing and not having access to that initially, I was able to notice, actually, we don't always have access to this, and we may have access now, but we don't always have access to luxury. So how else? And that's why dance was so important to me, because even growing up, I read a lot of books that were like romantic, or like high school girl like finds a boy, she likes him, all this stuff. And my mum was very clear, you are not to be investing your time and energy on boys. And I was like, there's no one in school anyway that I like. But even so, obviously I was like, oh, do I like that boy? Da, da, da. But dancing helped distract me from that, and made me appreciate and love myself in a way, right? Like I didn't have that language back then. Wouldn't say I loved myself back then, but it was the only time I felt safe. And I didn't need to rely on a partner for that. I didn't need like a 12-year-old boyfriend at the time, or 16-year-old. But I had dance to come back to and express myself and be authentic, because dance didn't discriminate against me. So whereas a partner could if he wanted to, or she,
Right.
if, depending on or they, whatever you like. So yeah, it's very important.
And to look at back in my own experience in relationships, when I struggle with my own self-worth, I end up being in a relationship that is not healthy for me. Like really toxic relationships. So that's how I believe most people struggle with, where even like people who are grow up with broken families, they see love as something that is struggling, so that is something that's familiar, so
Yeah,
of
they
course
get
are
attracted to.
But that's all
yeah.
they know as well, right?
Yeah.
So when you're treated like terribly, you think that that's the best you're going to get. So you continue to perpetuate having relationships that make you feel less than, because you don't think you're going to be in a relationship that's better than that. And I see that in a lot of women when it comes to relationships as well. We settle for really awful men because we think, well, at least they do this for me. But
Right.
no, actually, no, that's not how it goes. You need to set the bar up, not stupidly high, because we're human,
Right.
but high enough that these are what I need. These are things I will not compromise on. Being made to feel terrible and awful and less than is not a healthy relationship. And again, it comes back to the whole, like, that person that's projecting that is obviously suffering their own trauma that they've not dealt with usually. So
Right.
yeah.
That's why I think it's important for everyone, before you guys get into a relationship, understand your partner's trauma response first. Not like
Understand yours as well.
and yours as well.
Because you might be toxic too, and you have no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's good to have a bit of, well, I would actually encourage selfishness. Like,
Amen.
yeah.
Amen.
Like, why would you have to love yourself first and know what are your needs before finding or getting with another person,
And I think there's so much stigma around selfishness. People think being selfish is bad. No, being selfish is so good, and it doesn't have to mean, oh, that's mine. It's being selfish is in self-preservation and self-centered, in the sense that you are mindful of those around you, but you know what you need to do to protect yourself from
Not like selfish in terms of like putting people in harm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
It's more onto like attuning your needs and what you want.
And your boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. Most importantly, boundaries.
Yes.
But then I don't know what is boundaries. Like, everyone come to my boundaries. That's it.
I'm like, come meet my family, everyone. I just met you 5 minutes ago, but here's my family.
Yeah, come
Meet my
here.
cat.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
When people say love is blind, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, don't romanticize that. No, love is not blind. Only like when you are flooded with those dopamine and serotonin chemical, you cannot see clearly.
Yeah. I mean, love can be blind, but you are not blind. So, please.
True.
Yeah. Watch yourself first.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's very comprehensive from what we try to discuss. So my next question is like, in your own ideas, what is your own current level of self-worth? Yeah.
Level. I
It's a
see.
different level. You leveled up.
Yeah.
Need to measure
you
that
say
out.
We discuss a lot about, how we see things. Maybe we should look inwards. You see. Example. Let me start first. Please.
Right.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
let's start first.
Kawan. So for me, I think my own level of self-worth, how I value myself, is much more way increased than from the last 2-3 years ago, before I start my own healing journey. So that's why maybe I want to focus the different level between before I start the healing journey, and after I start my own healing journey. And it's not that I say this as like I'm already healed as a person. No, we always work in progress.
Right.
As long as we alive, we still work in progress. So back then, the one that I shared before I know myself better, I usually attracted to the kind of people who are belittle me a lot from like in career, like it's not like I don't know why, but I keep meeting those kind of people. Like if I work in this kind of setting, my boss usually gonna gaslight me in a passive aggressive way.
Right. Like-
Even friends as well. Sometimes, yeah, they don't like a certain things, but then they don't say it to your face. But then you just keep, you say they say certain things in within other people, like other friends, but they don't talk it out to you.
Yeah.
So you always think like, oh, what did I do? And in order for you to keep maintaining that relationship, you always like, figuring out like, how can I please that person? So I would say that before I know my self-worth, I'm pleasing people a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So that is where I think the benchmark of like loving myself
Was at that time.
was at that time. And also I think I don't really understand what is self-love.
Right.
Yeah, just the value of like like how certain trauma has like affect when we were adult, has bring me into this kind of lifestyle. So yeah, after went through all that we call it bad experience with those people to the point like,
History.
okay, this relationship has to end, no matter your boss,
Yeah.
your friend, your partner, even your family, right?
Right.
Things like this need to end. It's not like people say family, you cannot cut off the bond, because it's still family.
That's the thing.
But then I feel like because of that kind of mindset, people romanticize that kind of behavior. Like if your family gaslight your feelings, if your family like downgrade you, like you are not doing this right, you only like always have a thing to complain. So that kind of relationship doesn't end like that area. It's all we prolong in the society as well. So that's why we see this kind of boss, we see this kind of friends, we see this kind of partner relationships, right? So after things like that end, at the point I feel like my life, I spend a lot of my time sitting by myself alone. I feel like world just like I feel much safer when I'm alone.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
But then it became addictive.
Oh,
And
so you start
then,
isolating.
Yes, I
Right.
always say I start isolating myself, and it's actually depression symptom as well.
Yeah, right, it is.
It's like you don't want to go out, you just especially when COVID happens. MCO. Even when I want to go buy food outside, I feel like, oh my god, so struggle. I don't want to go out. I don't want to meet people even. Back then I was working in a my work industry require me to talk a lot with people.
Mm.
So after that kind of situation happened, I have like this kind of self-doubt to talk with people. Like, what if I say things wrong? What if I, like, I overthink a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that process has led me to go to therapy. thanks
for
to
you.
thanks to mental health, and so I think at that point, what made me go to therapy is because I cannot function anymore. To the fact that I think I can function, but the
Yeah.
people around me can see I cannot function anymore.
Mm.
That's why it affected relationships. That's why it affected with work as well. So start to go to therapy, and then I found out that I behave like this because of my trauma attachment, the trauma bond that I have, that I don't really talk about or I deal with it properly. So that's why I subconsciously teasing other people a lot, and when people don't, like things doesn't end well in my part, I just cut off people like that. And
Yeah.
it's
Like you form, because of like your
Yeah.
troubling past, you form like an unhealthy
Yeah.
attachment style.
unhealthy
Yeah.
attachment style, and also abandonment style. Like you feel like, okay, if I know that this gonna abandon me, I'm gonna
Yeah,
run away
abandon first.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah.
Which is not healthy, guys. So don't do it. So after I start my own healing journey, I realized that, and now with all the support that I have with the community and meeting the right people, I feel like, yeah, this is. Then I realized that actually, in some point in myself, I have been looking myself worth in the wrong way, in the wrong perspective,
Okay.
in the wrong definition. Because, like I mentioned before this, self-love is conditional. I need to be conditioned to certain things, then I can love myself. But now I feel that little things, like I need to re-practice, like even giving myself full quality nutrition in my body is good enough for my
Yeah.
self-worth. Like good activity, exercise for myself,
Yeah.
good enough. Good rest, good sleep quality is part of self-love activities.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to travel around
Like
the
in
world
Europe,
to find that
yeah.
to find that piece, that missing piece. And doing a lot in community work really helped me to put in perspective of how I should work on my self-worth. So from 0 to 10, my level meter, I would say, from the past few years, 10.
Wow.
Whoa.
Amazing.
Because before this year I 0, because it's 0, and then now it's, I feel that, I mean, it's still work in progress, but from the perspective of that, having that self-worth
In comparison.
and I do get a lot of people say, oh, you look different now.
So you're working your way to 100 now.
Yeah. Shy lah, like this. But yeah, I think that's my own experience, how I deal with my, when we start do the healing work properly, we
Right.
can see that tremendous difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A huge step. Yeah, I really appreciate your story. That was really nice and quite beautiful to hear, like your journey.
Thank you. And yes,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
your time.
My turn.
Your turn.
My self-worth fluctuates all the time. I think it depends on my mental health state, my physical health state. I think, nourishing your body with what it needs is so important. But I also didn't understand the quality and the necessity of rest. I'm an Aries, and I just go, 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 go. So I don't grant myself the rest that I need. And once I started getting older, I noticed, okay, no, rest is a good idea, because my body cannot keep up. And actually, my mental health could not keep up either. And then it took the most exploitative job in the world for me to know, wow, okay, it's not just my output, but it's also the fact that people take what I'm giving and they don't give back, and they don't say thank you, and they exploit and take full advantage. And I think about what kind of trauma my body has been through as a woman navigating in this world, on a personal as well as a political as well as a public scale. And if you used to ask me, like, right now, what's my level of self-worth that I'd assess myself, is going to be different, I think, even in like 2 hours time, do you know? I could eat something later and then it just drops because I'm like, I shouldn't have eaten that. Now I feel bleh. Or if the weather is terrible, I feel worse. Like, that's why I couldn't survive in the UK, because I was like, this weather is awful. I cannot. I would wake up some mornings feeling depressed and sad, and I'm like, why? And then I open my curtain, I'm like, that's why. It's so gray, it's awful.
Right.
But like you say, it's a work in progress. I think all my 20s, I always just assumed, oh, I know what it means to love yourself. You just do X, Y, and Z, and then you're kind of sorted, right? Like what you said, your definition of self-worth was doing what you've been told is what self-care. I'll do a facial mask, and I'll like have a bubble bath, and I'll treat myself to a piece of cake because I deserve it. And it's not that. Self-care is so much deeper, and it's so much more specific to what works for you. So like dancing and working out is my self-care, but it only fixes so much because you have to do the internal work. So it's very hard to answer the question what my self-worth level is at. I think right now, I think it's 7 out of 10. Because generally speaking, I'm okay, but I also feel like I want to work out, and then I'll feel better after doing the workout or after doing some dancing. I also don't feel like I've got my life together right now. Like, I've got things that, I need to plan that and I need to do that, and so when I don't feel I'm in as much control of what I need to do, then it's less. So
I do struggle with like things like that as well before I really understand what the definition of understanding yourself, because everyone, their body works differently. So at sometimes your body needs like 3 days rest, like doing nothing, and then our brain like our culturally brain like, no, you have to do something, be functional in the society,
and
blah blah blah.
that's the thing, like capitalism tells us you need to be productive all the time. That's why I hate Instagram, because there was that trend for the it girl, like I wake up at 5 a.m. and then I meditate for 10 minutes and then I drink my green juice and I have my life together. I'm like, girl, where'd you get the money from? Like, how do you afford this lifestyle? Like, then I read a book, and it has to be a self-help book that's like, good vibes, good vibes only kind of thing. And it sent me into a nervous breakdown last year, because I thought I had my life together. I did everything that this TikTok trend or Instagram trend was telling me to do, and yet I was not happy. I wasn't happy to it. Like, I was maximizing my productivity as best as I can, and yet I was not happy. Why? It's because I didn't rest. I had to fit myself into this box that online media is telling me is going to be.
This is workable. This is how success people lifestyle works.
Yes, and if that works for you, that's great. I'm happy for you, but it's not realistic. And I don't condone that. I just think it's a misconception, and especially when there's already enough barriers set up for women to be just live in this world. Never mind to like self-love, but just to like exist and to work and to just go out on the street. And that's another thing. The self-worth we're told as women we're objects, right? So we're going to be seen as bodies only, and if you're not a certain aesthetic, you're less worthy. These beauty standards set up, and then we're told at the end of the day, well, as long as you're beautiful, no man will leave you. Beyonce, like, got cheated on, and
even like
our top models have been cheated on.
Local, like Diana Daniel.
Yes, exactly. Do you know? So, when we take ourselves out of those standards that are set up by society, and you figure out what you believe is And some of it, I don't think that you should beat yourself up if you think a lot of what your idea of self-worth is curated and conditioned by society, because there's going to be influence. But it takes a lot of work to understand. Like, okay, at the end of the day, I know lingerie is like objectifying women, but I enjoy wearing lingerie when I feel like it, right? And it doesn't have to be for anyone, but that's what I enjoy. And so it doesn't mean that wasn't influenced by burlesque or the media saying you're only sexy if you wear this.
And it's like for someone else,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Sometimes wearing nightgown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy enough.
Yeah, listen-
Baju keluar.
Listen, I've seen some very beautiful hijabi women that are sexy as, but like they're all covered up, do you know?
Exactly.
So I think it varies day to day. I feel I'm 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, if I'm dancing, I feel like 10 out of 10 self-worth like level, right? But there are some times when I'm like, God, I'm not feeling it today. I feel really not empowered. I feel terrible.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Because, life is like that. It's not always high all the time.
Yeah.
You have to go feel the down, and then you can feel.
To know what it feels like to be up, right?
You're right.
You can't be 110% all the time. I know that now.
So yeah, from you, clinical.
Oh, you want a clinical perspective?
Yes.
Wait, what's the topic again?
The question is how
Self-love.
I mean,
Self-worth.
Self-worth from your own measurement, and maybe a little bit like from clinical perspective, why people struggle to identify their own self-worth and measure.
Right. Like from what you said, there's a lot of truth in that. Like a lot of how we form our behaviors, our way of thinking, our thought patterns, it all comes from experience. You know, since birth, we were raised by parents, and then we go to school, we meet like different people. So that's where like our sense of identity, you know, our sense of identity, our self-worth, our self-esteem, that's how it all builds. So it really depends on like a person, and also like, yeah, it's like it depends on the individual. But from what I see is like what people start having issues from their self-worth is they're too focused on like one direction, you know, like maybe let's say in your case, for example, you shared your past, like you say you were very focused on your job, and then so your direction is set on your job, but like the moment you had like issues and you couldn't like be productive through your job, your self-worth will start diminishing, because like that was the only, you know, that's how you only had one definition, right? But you can actually have multiple definitions of yourself, of like maybe, okay, like I can't do my job, but you know what I can do? Like I can dance, I can sing, I can draw, I can like write, produce something else. You know, it creates like other
sense of celebration or belonging, or
But it's just the mark you leave in this world, right? Or
Yeah.
someone's life. Like making someone smile can be enough to make you feel worthy, because you feel seen, and you feel like, hey, you made someone's day that bit better. That means if you hadn't been there, their day might not have got better.
Yeah, it's like the impact you live in.
Yeah. So,
for you, your own experience, perspective, how maybe before, I mean, I don't know if you want to share before you take.
Oh, clinical
Yeah.
psychology. Okay. The reason, because like since I was younger, you know, I'm also relate to you a bit lah. I also people pleaser, and then like I didn't really have an interest in psychology before, but I had a best friend, and she was like she had a lot of like issues with herself personally, and then I wanted to like understand what is her problem, like what was the issue, what was like her struggles, what was she fighting for that I couldn't see. So that's why I took like the path to psychology first, like that was like the start lah. So like for me, that was initially like I would tie my self-worth to like people pleasing, but like I couldn't like please her, you know, when she was like having her episodes, like I couldn't calm her down and stuff. So like I felt very defeated and conflicted. But then also like throughout the years, I realized like, you know, I don't have to like fix her, quote unquote. I just have to be there for her, you know.
Yeah.
So like my point of view, self-worth kind of expands from there. Like I can do so much more and help people, and that's why I took this course. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Good for all of us.
Not you.
Yeah.
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 I think the reason why we struggle to value our own self-worth because we don't see the little things that we can done. that we
Yeah,
have done for
right.
ourselves. And we don't celebrate that much.
Mm.
Like being able to wake up and eat healthy food.
Yeah.
Something that we should celebrate already.
Yeah.
You know, like making people smile.
Yes.
Something that we should celebrate already. But for us, like that our fixed mindset things like, no.
Yeah, like I want more, I want
yeah,
more.
like it's just that. It's just like even like me myself, I struggle with like identify my own achievement, like what I've done within the community with this WIT thingy. I do struggle to identify the things that I have done.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
even for maybe for you as well, you could relate that. Kan?
Yeah.
The feeling, yeah.
For sure.
But that's why like, you know, we still have to surround ourselves with people because like, you know, we keep if we like stay by ourselves all the time, we are not able to see our own achievements or our own struggles. So if you have like a good support system, a group of friends that will be like, hey, you know, you look so good today, or like, whoa, I really like what you did today, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like we get to see different perspectives of, yeah, right,
Right.
yeah.
Betul. That's why, like I mentioned, when we struggle with a lot of pain and then we consume too much of that people pleasing mindset.
Yeah.
People don't please us back. We feel like so hurt. I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be associated with any society anymore.
Yep.
You self isolate yourself, and it doesn't like it. I wish that part of myself is. I mean, I'm glad that things happen, but if I have the capability or maybe like the kind of insight that I have within that I have today, maybe I feel that like I'm not being so hard on myself.
Right.
Like I don't like like to the point that I hate human that much. I just want to be friends with animals, guys.
Yeah.
Up to that point, okay. So yeah, I think. And for you, how do you measure your own self-worth before and after?
Well, before it was like, you know lah, typical lah, like your friend, like, you know, why you don't want to hang out with me more? You hang out with that person more, and then
Macam good trip like.
yeah, also very petty lah, right?
I was the other way around. I would be excluded from things, so I never felt like people wanted me in their group. So I was the other way around. That wasn't great for
hang out here.
That wasn't great for my self-worth. I was like, why does someone want me? No one wants to be friends with me.
Yeah, and then for you, it's a.
Yeah, but like that was me in the past. But now I'm just like, you know, as long as I can like hang out with people, make an impact, and learn something new, I feel like that will increase like my self-worth. I see myself kind of like a journal, you know, like every day you would fill up your journal. So as long as like that journal is filled even like one line or one dot also, it's like, yeah, today's a good day. Yeah.
Even though something bad happened.
Yeah, it's still something to write, right?
Yeah.
So it's still like filled up. So I feel like any experience, good or bad, it's just something to learn. And also like it's okay to make mistakes, like, and it's okay to like accept yourself and accept others for like the flaws. It's like a learning process for everyone.
Yeah.
What are the activities or exercise that can develop for self-worth?
Mm.
So I think this is more like you
Oh,
can
like
answer this question like more specific so for our audience so they can try whenever
okay.
they feel like not pretty or not in the low mood energy. What kind of exercise or
well, I can go like the clinical side, like with studies and scientific proof, like the number one like everyone can do is just like relaxation technique or breathing styles, you know, like I think the most easiest one is the box breathing technique, where you just imagine like you are in front of like a box building, and then the box building is 5 steps long. So like you circle around the building. So like first you inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you turn. So and then you exhale, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then
Are you physically walking, or you just
no, like
you're just
I mean,
imagining, right?
you can physically walk too, but like you know, very hard to find a box building.
Yeah, no. I mean, like physically, like maybe like walking around something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
physically, okay.
Like you're circling the box, so it like kind of gives you like a direction, like oh, you know, I'm just circling a box. So it's also like, in a way, also a good grounding technique, like when you are kind of lost and you kind of, you know, the anxiety is flaring up. So yeah, that's one way, like in the moment. But maybe like another style you can use, like if you just want to do something, is journaling lah, like what we're doing, kind of what we're doing now, you know, we're writing a letter for ourselves. It's like you can just do any self-expression, doesn't have to be pretty or anything, it's just like something you would like to do. And I mean, the best way, also another way where even doctors recommend, is exercise lah. Yeah.
The whole world said go.
Yeah, go, easy to say lah, but you know, I also myself struggle exercise, a bit lazy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, maybe
yeah.
because we don't find the right exercise for us.
Yeah, the thing is like people would think like, you know, exercise, I have to go to the gym, I have to wear like sports, and I have to like run like 10 miles or something. But exercise can be something like, you know, just simple stretching. Yeah, a walk, maybe.
Or just like a hike, swimming, a lot of people really enjoy.
Yeah.
Not, it doesn't have to be like doing laps either. Just like that's why a lot of people, as a personal trainer and fitness instructor, I've seen it's a social event. People hate exercise sometimes, but they come in doing it socially, and it brings them joy. So then at least it takes away the drama of like, oh god, I feel really out of shape, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it can be as simple as like walking and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be like, you know, something hardcore like getting a gym membership and then doing all sorts.
All that heat.
Yeah. It can be also just like simple stretching, you know, when you're on the desk table, you can do like arm exercises, leg exercises. It's like really simple, but it's just like that activity that just gets your brain like activated and going. Yeah.
Like the box one, I think very good for.
Yeah, it's quite simple. Yeah.
If you just cannot, because my struggle when as a ADHD.
Yeah.
Staying still.
Really? That one is part. I have this ADHD paralysis at a certain point. That's why I said before I get to know my symptom and the analysis, go to therapy and all. I don't know what works for me. So when I know all my symptoms, I know how to manage it better, or like, you know, take some time, give the whatever, you know, top up or rebalance my brain chemical that is not producing healthily. So that's why I think when I'm in that ADHD paralysis, I need to be kind to myself.
Right.
Like if I have to do something and cannot, my brain keep mocking me, go bangun, buat kau miskin, bangun, buat kerja. But I cannot. My body is just like that.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't have the motivation enough to get up. And it's simple steps like bangun, mandi, do something. It's not hard when I'm at that place. But if there are like external push, like, you know, okay, let's have let's say some friend, okay, jom kita pergi hiking, something that I would love to do.
Right.
I totally okay, jom.
Yeah, let's go, let's do it.
Let's do it. Maybe I need it like that time.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel that we need to know, especially for mental health fighters that are struggling with their own self-worth. They need to know their body language love
Right.
and symptom as well. What is this face try to tell you?
Like, what am I doing now, and what
Yeah.
does it mean,
What does
right?
it mean?
Yeah.
Why my body? I want to do something else, but why my body feel like this? Like we really need to be in tune with the body, to be helping us to understand our self-worth better.
Right. That's true.
I'm very grateful for some friends who've dealt with mental health, like severe mental health, in the past before I dealt with my own issues, because they kind of set the blueprint for how they struggled and how they came out of it. So that when I was faced with it, and at times when I felt like I can't go on any longer, the pain is too much, I thought back to them, and I was like, they've been through it, and they have come out so strong. And yes, it's still ongoing. Sometimes they have those days, but they're able to persevere, so I should be able to as well. So they really inspired me, but they also taught me that it doesn't show up in just one way, right? Mental health struggles don't just show up in one way. Like for some people, it's like they're bed bound. They cannot get out of bed because it physically hurts. For others, it's like carrying on but acting like a robot, but you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't do anything. You just don't even nourish your body anymore. And then for others, it's like losing the inspiration and just disliking yourself, and you don't feel like you have any place in society because you have nothing to contribute. And so the society and the world tells you, if you can't give us labor, you can't give us your body, then you're not worth it. You're not worthy of being here. So then you think, well, why am I here then? What's the point? So it shows up in different ways, and because of that, as a result of those who are close to me and those who I love have been through different phases, and they've expressed their mental health issues and struggles differently. I know when it came to me, I'm like, this is depression.
Then you
I didn't think,
aware, right?
yeah, I never thought I'd be here. And it creeps up on you, like you're going through all this, and then like a month later, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I should see someone. Like this is, and that's sooner than others. Some people go through it for years without even knowing it. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing to like surround yourself with people from different aspects of life, because from that you're able to learn, like how you picked up your friends' behaviors and how you're able to recognize that. That's a very good thing.
Absolutely. I'm really, truly so grateful for them. Really.
Yeah. It's very nice to hear.
So sometimes people like, oh, jangan kawan dengan dia ni, dia mental.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hate that.
Yeah.
and like being conscious of your language as well. Like I still have to deal with deconstructing and criticizing, critiquing how I use certain words, like the words crazy or like insane and stuff. Like I tend to use it more positively. Like if I see a really cool dance move, I'm like, that's insane, because it's out of this world. So I try to assert like a positive attribute to it, or positive connotation. But yeah, like being like, you're crazy, I'm like, that's apparently not like cool to say now. And that doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with it, but I have to respect that some people will take offense at that. And I think this world is very unforgiving. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's good that you're taking like that step to change. Like it's just the baby steps to change the language around like the stigma and everything.
But that's just it. A lot of people think, oh my god, that's just so stupid, and like, oh,
it's just a word.
It's just,
yeah.
No, and it's just a word. Who's going to be offended by that? I'm like, no, you don't know what people have been through. Like, it could be just as a child, if you had abusive parents who kept raising you to say, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, and then someone says that to you, that could trigger you because you're like, I'm back in that place. All it takes is one word.
Yeah, right.
And so it's just being mindful that just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean it doesn't affect someone else. So, yeah. But it is, I think that's actually bare minimum work, right? And that's what annoys me. People think they do the work by watching this video or reading this content or following this account, and it's like, no. Or sharing this picture, like, oh, I'm so aware. Look, I shared this. It's like, yeah, but are you doing the work?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with mental health stuff, lah. I feel like, because I don't know, sometimes it's feel like people use mental health things as a trend.
Yes, it's trending.
It's something that you
It's also a money making thing, right? Like some people are like, oh, I see I can make profit from this, so then they will start doing pumping content that's like this therapy speak and like, oh look, this is how you can get your life together. Buy my guide to like getting your life together.
My self-help book or something.
Yes, exactly. And it's like that's not all it is though.
Yeah, it's very surface level.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a good and bad thing lah. Like for now, like in terms of now, the understanding of mental health is way better compared to that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Malaysia.
Yeah.
When I left Malaysia like 10 years ago or plus, and then came back in 2019, the growth is not a lot. It's not as much as it should be, but there was growth. And I was like, wow, people actually are aware. Never mind just talking about it, are aware. Even if they don't agree with it, they know that it exists.
Yeah.
And then some of them are like, oh, there's West telling you that the Western world can tell you that you've got problems. And when I was younger, I just went through it. It's like, yeah, but you still went. Yeah, but like, look at you.
You passed all the
literally-
trauma.
You may not have felt it, but now I feel the repercussions of your trauma. Thank you.
Thank you,
whoever.
ancestors.
Ancestors. I'm not saying my parents. My parents are dope. They're amazing. So I'm just disclaimer.
I mean,
I've got great parents. I'm very lucky.
I mean, like it's a how to say, it's a generational thing that I think
generational trauma.
and
trauma.
it's not that I say generation trauma is not good for us. Like trauma happens because we need like some stress input
to grow.
to build our resiliency.
Yeah.
So maybe like the olden or the older generations, they built a certain resiliency that have this one capacity, and but then the struggle what they face at that time is much more different than
than what
ours
we're
now.
facing.
Now we have like climate change. You guys know that climate change affect our mental health and
Yeah, I have major climate anxiety. It's one of the biggest things for me.
So it's not like ni penyakit budak-budak sekarang ni.
Yeah.
Aduh, pening.
Yeah.
I get climate anxiety just driving my car, and I have to drive my car everywhere because Malaysia is like that. So our public transport is not ideal, but it is very tough. Climate anxiety is a massive thing, and it's just not. It exists in Malaysia, but we don't get to talk about it because there's no space for it yet. There will be space. So I want to shout out to Nadia from Kami, who started up that foundation, like that movement here, because it's important that we discuss climate change actually and climate anxiety.
So I think that's all from just now. We discussed about how the exercise.
Right. Yeah. Maybe I can summarize it. Like in summary, how would you deal with like struggles with your self-worth? You can do something relaxing, such as the box breathing technique, where you just pace around the box. So you count from 1 to 5. You inhale and exhale around the box. And then another way is just like normal, like very simple things such as like journaling or like making art such as this, or exercise. Could be anything as long as it's not too much, too money spending, and like too harmful for you. Yeah.
People say, I need to feel love again when I go travel.
Yeah, people say like,
if you have the money, do it. If you have the money, do it. But
if you don't have the money, it's okay. Travel within what you can.
Yeah.
From your house, embrace the nature.
Yeah, even outside.
Jalan kaki, walk. Malaysia is hot now.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Sweat the weight away.
Yeah. Find the time to embrace the nature wherever you go. I feel I learned that thing when I'm in the depression mode, where we cannot go out physically. We just need to embrace whatever I have in the house. So just by watching the birds, and then I counting lah. Oh, ada 1, 2, 3.
yeah.
And even like the like you notice how cloud shapes always
Right.
changing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Mindfulness. Yeah.
Mindfulness, yeah. Be attuned to your mind.
Be off your phone. Don't rely on your phone all the time or online content.
Macam kalau tak ada handphone macam anxious kan?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I try to minimize my phone time every day to less than 2 hours. So I panic if it gets to 1 hour 40. I'm like, oh my god. When it does your screen time at the end of the day, you're like, oh my god, 1 hour 40. Oh my god, I spent way too much time on my phone. I never exceed 2 hours. Never. Yeah,
Even though
very
if it's work related.
Yeah, I'll use my laptop.
Hey, that's another thing.
I know, but because as well on the phone, I feel it's a lot more concentrated tunnel vision, right? Whereas on the
Right.
laptop, I feel like it's because it's bigger, I can
Wider.
take in a bit more.
Hmm.
So yeah, don't ask my laptop time screen time. my phone screen time is like less than 2 hours.
Okay, social media lah, social media.
Yeah,
better,
that's
yeah.
good that you're trying to like set limits for yourself.
Oh yeah. since before COVID even, cannot. It gives me anxiety looking at my phone for too long. It freaks me out. I'm like, out of my face.
To the end of the question, so okay, how can society be better through valuing and developing self-worth? Like, how do you think society or us will play a role in the society?
Self-worth.
Be better in putting the values and developing our self-worth as a collective.
Definitely. I think like since we come from an Asian culture, everything also society, you want to do simple thing also need to ajak kawan lain.
Yeah.
Like it's very communal based.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe for us as a whole, like we as Malaysians, we need to try and be, like I said earlier lah, selfish sikit lah. You have to know what you want and know what you're out to get. And just
It doesn't have to be like, oh kawan I meet ni, you kena join juga you punya kawan or your family, right?
right. So you just need to know what you are worth and know what you are able to give. I mean, easy to say lah. There's a lot of self-exploration that we all need to do, but we can all start from very small things, such as like writing to yourself, or like just expressing or discussing with your friend. Like things about yourself. Yeah, we can start from there, like small steps.
Yeah. And then you, Sophia?
Consume less. Consume less. I think it's we need to find ways to fill the void without, and I don't mean just material, I mean even down to relationships, hookup culture, or being friends with people who are clearly toxic for you, but you feel like you need people around you. So consume less online media, consume less digital stuff, be more present in nature. I think nature helps me ground myself and realize, yes, be selfish, but also ground yourself. The world isn't about me. There's so much more beyond me in my life, right? And
Right.
that's not to make you feel like you're any less worthy, but it centers you in a way that's like, I'm part of this massive. The world isn't about me, but I'm part of this bigger picture. This is amazing. I can contribute. You can contribute.
We all part of the universe. Even our body, our energy, our flow is just work
Yeah.
aligned with the universe as well.
Yes, and that comes down to as well, I would add self-value and self-worth. Surround yourself with the people who make you feel worthy. And that's not to say that's like you rely on them or depend on them, but
Just
they come in
around
handy when the days you don't feel so great. They remind you that you are worthy, and I think that's really important. Surround yourself with the right people. I've been very blessed that my life has been fairly consistent with self-worth because I've had the right people in my life on the whole, generally. But you attract what you put out, right? The secret.
Right.
And so I have been lucky enough that I've been surrounded by very wonderful, inspiring people, and it continues to happen because I continue to look for those people and they keep coming up in my life, they keep showing up in my life if they're not already there.
Mm.
So surround yourself with the right people and consume less is what I would say.
Yeah.
Totally, totally agree. So, whoever ready to...
Oh my god, do I have to show it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh la la!
That's the point.
Oh no, Malu!
That's the point, girl.
Okay.
Confidence, shuffle. Empowering.
Okay, alright. Well, I'm just finishing up with a few little hearts because when it comes down to it, it's the only thing I really know how to draw. A nice, easy drawing.
I think like tak perlu tulis all pun, but I think we can like focus on like answer this question. So like
Okay. So do I just...
what is the word of kindness that you found in this love letters, and how these love letters help you to to find the love that you need?
Okay, well, I guess I'll show it first. As you can probably tell, I really love purple. Like, purple is my go-to color since I was a baby. Like, I love purple. I think there should be an actual medical disorder for me. If I see something purple in the shop, I'm like, I need to buy that. The only thing stopping me is my bank account. So, what I love is purple. Therefore, love letter, purple. I was drawn to stickers that was things I love, so more purple. Also, this, I don't think it's coffee, but it looks like hot milk being poured into a hot drink, and I love my coffee. I also love taro lattes, so that I'm gonna either assume is a taro latte or it's a coffee, like a cappuccino or a flat white. I love macarons, and I love that they're purple. If there's anything I love more than purple, it's my cat and cats in general. I saw this t-shirt saying girls supporting girls, and it was a purple t-shirt, so I was like, yes, girls supporting girls, women supporting women, women supporting girls, vice versa, women, and all that. I'm the queen because that's a mantra that we should live by every day. That doesn't mean treat people less than you. It means that you rule your life, you own it. And then this Audrey Hepburn is someone that I've looked up to since I was a young girl. She embodies beauty and elegance in every shape or form, I think. One version of beauty. Music, dancing helps me get through life. And then politics, because I'm very political. And I never thought I was growing up, but now I am. And then the caption, the stick at the top, is I can't give you the world, but my world can give it all to you, which is literally me. Like, I will give you either 0 or 100. I don't give anything less than. So I may not be able to offer the world because I'm not Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk and buy you a new world. But
I think like give the world need to change the perspective in the matter
what's
of
wrong with our world right now?
Yes.
But my world is pretty awesome. So if you have access to my world, then you are all in my world right now. And I will give it all to you. So, and then I just added like bits of paper to make it look a little bit interesting. But I will write something here. But I will add that the swirly, I like swirls. I like linear, but I cannot do linear. I don't understand it. So hence why I put the paper. But I do swirls because it's like dance, like movement.
Can see lah,
Yeah, I can see this movement here.
So you enjoy using the watercolor swirling around.
I freaking love this. I love the watercolor.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to my world. Welcome.
I've been missing out so much for 20 years.
Yeah. All right.
So okay, usually after you finish sharing session, I will like see how you interpret the artwork. I mean,
okay.
I'm also busy doing this thing siap kan.
Yeah.
Crazy juga. But yeah, the whole reason why we do art therapy is we come to a rise of our self-identity, like become more aware of what we like, what we don't like. Sometimes the subconscious color or the shades or the pattern that we choose is what we thought we know ourselves, but sometimes how we being aware of what we feel. at that time.
Mm.
So I can feel that now you feel all the love, you feel all the worry, and you feel empowered by doing what you are been doing for the past, like, starting when you do all this
Yeah.
dance, sharing,
Yeah.
expression, science. It helps you to, it's like you find your life purpose
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
This part of your passion and your career.
I'd say, I mean, I would just say that my life purpose is not just dancing, it's also helping others.
Yeah.
But through dance, or through letting them dance, or through expressing myself and showing myself to them. Vulnerability.
Vulnerability, yeah.
Mm.
And I think like we as a society, we are too scared of being vulnerable because Asian mindset, right?
Mm.
Showing that you are vulnerable is like showing that you are weak.
Yes.
Right.
Don't let people know you are weak, so that it's like taking advantage on you.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I think in order for us to be strong enough within this kind of world, we need to be vulnerable. I mean that vulnerable is part of the process of being strong,
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
right? So for us, we cannot like expect, God give me strength without you being vulnerable first,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So that is how the universe works, guys. So don't be afraid of being vulnerable. And because you are a man,
Yeah.
single, independent woman, you cannot be vulnerable.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Like we all have these feelings. These feelings are all natural. So
Yeah.
it's alright to feel that way. Like if you're not supposed to feel that way, then why are you feeling it? You know?
It's like pain, right? If
Mm,
your body's
right.
telling you you're in pain, something's wrong, right?
Yeah, you are in pain.
You're in pain, so
Then
do
you
something
get
about it.
like, I don't have time to be in pain right now. I have too much work. Like, some.
That's your painkillers. That's you just suppressing it for a
Yeah.
short while before it comes up again. It doesn't mean the pain goes away, right?
Right.
The problem's still there.
Bukanlah iklan tu, makan Panadol. Awak rasa awak ada masa untuk pening kepala? Makanlah Panadol.
Basically.
Yeah. It's not like that. Guys, don't do that. So, okay. How do you feel by doing this? How do you feel like you become more self-expressed, or what do you notice how?
I think I had in my mind a very boxed idea of what art therapy is. Not that it's not something that I can't do, but it's like I thought, I have to draw something, right?
Yeah.
But I just drew, and I thought I don't know how to express myself through art. But I think when you gave me all these utensils and stickers, this is a way. I love collage, so it was something for me that I felt comfortable. Oh, okay, within this realm, I can express myself through this kind of art, this version of art. Oh, I see you got cars. Okay. I was like, oh, she got cars. She likes to move or travel or something. No, I just know. I'm like, ooh. But like I love seeing what you've done. Like it's so different from mine, and I'm like, damn, yours looks nicer, but in its own way, right? Like mine looks like a hot mess, which is my life.
That's why
Quite
I feel
honestly.
like this is the right way how we should represent self-worth or self-love. Because
right.
everyone portray, like, everyone's beauty, everyone's potential, everyone's strength is in their own different ways. So that's why we cannot like put it as standard.
Yeah, there is no standard. There's no fixed way to like do art, right?
Yeah, there's no rules. I think that's it. I thought there would be rules.
And
I don't know what rules that would be.
especially for like like mentality
No drawing.
the mentality of cantik when you are skinny, when you are fair, when you have this kind of hair, when you can like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There is no standard for everything. Like the standards set is only through yourself. Like you set your own standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready, Robin?
Me,
Fancy that you think the kind of shop, okay?
kind of. I'm just like also doing a little collage. There is, there's not. I didn't really write anything. I just wrote like a list of like my obligations. Like what am I supposed to do? But I put like a big I don't care there because there's too many. So like I guess this is supposed to be like a meaning where yeah, you can have this many obligations, but you don't have to go through like a list or like be so fixated on it. So that's why I put this I don't care. It's not that I actually don't care. It's more like just be
Can wait
chill.
lah.
Yeah.
Can wait lah.
Right, yeah. It's a long list, but I'll go through it eventually. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I put 3 cars here because it's really simple, the meaning behind this. I just want 3 cars, that's it.
Contribution to carbon emissions.
I'm so sorry.
Electric car.
Okay, it's
car.
electric car, it's electric
Fine.
car.
Or like engineless cars or whatever. So they're just aesthetic reasons.
I mean, I will put bicycle, but there's
Yes.
no bicycle
Okay,
stickers.
Okay, you're back in my good books.
Yeah. Yeah, and I added a lot of I try to make it like nature theme. Like I put a lot of flowers and I put like yellow for the sunset, blue for the sky, and then green in this area. It's like for me personally, these colors are like quite pleasing to me. So I try to be like in that state of mind, hopefully. So my letter quite simple. This is basically like the meaning behind it, I guess. Yeah, it's how I express like my self-love and also like my needs and wants. Very simple. Alright, I think that's it for me. Simple lah.
Yeah. Okay. What are the kindest words you choose for yourself from that word? And like, yeah, how do you feel after doing it? Like how like, you know, your self-worth or self-love view or perspective
Yeah.
into that?
I think like my favorite from here is the I do not care, because I feel like a lot of people nowadays they care too much. So I'll be contributing to the I do not care part. And I think more people should join me. I mean,
Amen.
yeah, amen. So we shouldn't take things way too seriously. It's good that we can follow a set of rules, but it's also quite dangerous sometimes because like if you follow too much, you become too rigid and you become stressed, like, oh no, I'm not following this when everyone's following, and then you just stress yourself and you just start exploding. So I feel like sometimes it's just good to be chill, lengan sikit, and just like go with the flow. So, yeah.
People have a try, go with the flow is one thing. Like another thing, know with the flow lah.
Yeah.
Go with the flow sangat sampai
Not too much lah, not until you
lemas lah.
yeah, not until like waterfall there you still go with the flow. You need to know when to jump out. Yeah. Yeah. Simple.
How do you?
Oh, how do I feel?
Yeah, how do you feel?
I feel like this activity is very, very nice because honestly I didn't know like nowadays sticker is so nice, so cantik. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna like buy after this. But yeah, so
Please use my Shopee link code.
no problem, I'll definitely do that.
So we can like utilize
Yeah.
together for community to the community.
Yeah, support local business,
Support
guys.
local business. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like this activity for me is really fun, even from a clinical psychologist trainee perspective. I feel like I will definitely maybe incorporate this into like my therapy styles. Yeah, because I feel like
In
yeah.
therapy, sometimes I feel like, especially in a government hospital, like, it feels like you are being integrated in like macam tak salah lah.
Yeah. Like you feel like some questions they ask you very so like if you give like your client a blank piece of paper, they can just write anything they want. Yeah, so I feel like this is a very good medium. Yeah, I appreciate like this learning curve of this session. Yeah.
But I really hope that one day we can implement every psychiatric ward, especially to have the art therapy.
Yeah, the art therapy medium. I'll try to do that. Hopefully.
Yes, we we need that more so people don't be scared to go to seek help.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so ready. Mine, elak.
Yeah. The main course.
The main course. So for mine, I think this is like, okay, the first step that I do is like I do my own, ta-da, yay!
Wow.
I do my own, what we call it, dandelion. I try
Yeah.
to do like dandelion flower, but it's a mix of colors, so it's like, I resonate flowers. I don't like flowers, to be honest.
Oh.
But
Who are you?
yeah. What? Because I feel like buat apa membazir, like faham tak?
Flowers of nature. There's a whole cycle of life.
Yeah, sabar semua before you judge me.
Sorry, judge-free zone.
I mean, before this, I don't like flowers because like flowers represent like something that are like so fragile. Because flowers, you need to like taking care the right amount of water, the right amount of ni. Kalau tak, dia cepat mati and all. So, yeah, I don't really like flowers because of maybe my trauma attachment still there, like judging. Oh, flowers, so girly.
Yeah.
Now, you see, banyak je kan flowers. So I feel like life food like especially like self-worth grows in a different way of how life brings you. So at this part of life setting, I think that I have planted so much seeds within my environment. So now is the time for me to see the outcome, like to see it bloom, to see it like flourish, right? So that's how I think we should look at for ourselves. If we want to see the progress in ourselves, we need to put the seed within ourselves first.
Right.
Like slowly put in the work, right? Before we expect too much of changes. Like sometimes we are too hold off of like, oh, I wanted to be like this so much. To the point like we forgot that we just planted the seed yesterday.
Yeah.
So chill. Chill, girl.
Yeah, impatient, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very impatient, like the Panadol metaphor
Yeah.
just now. I already makan ubat now. Why?
Quick results. I
don't-
need quick results.
Yeah.
I think, and also growing up in this kind of environment, this like modern environment where everything is quick, like you eat fast food, you multitask a lot, you have to learn fast, everything in a fast pace. To
Yeah.
the point we forgot how to breathe, how to be mindful, how to appreciate like what we have in our surroundings, and to be add on as in this social media thingy, everything is like, oh, FOMO, has to be in trend. So that's why I think now I feel like in order for us to be aware or like to understand ourselves better is where we can really take the time to step back and be aware of the little thing that we have done now, which is like, if you can notice here, good time schedule. As who are having like this high functioning
Yeah.
mindset, I need to have fun.
Yeah.
You too.
So please, dear me, please take time, like have a schedule, like good times, like 8 to 9, whatever, little things. And I also put like that girl on your explore page.
Yes.
Because I'm at the phase of I in exploring myself and exploring the world. Because even though I have lived like 20 plus years, I spend most of the time living in the autopilot mode, where I don't really be aware of what's happening around me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now is the time for me to like be aware and it's time to be beast at the exploration. And yeah, I put also the sticker, you there, the one reading this now, I want you to do something. Something good for myself first before, like I mentioned, I do have like struggle with like people pleasing attachment. Because if I don't help someone, I feel bad to myself. And I need this reminder a lot. But I feel by having this kind of conversation with you guys and also see your own artwork, like how I see your that to do this thing and that I need that. I think like when we do this kind of art therapy together, we like somehow hold the energy or space together.
Right,
so you don't feel like too much heavy and feel all that.
Yeah.
Uneasiness.
Yeah.
Emotion alone.
So you feel more comfortable and more connected with each other.
Yeah. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. It was really fun.
It was really nice.
You punya title. Everyone have one title for your
Title. Okay.
What's the title?
Very hard.
Huh? Yeah.
Very hard to write a title because there's so many things happening, so it's very hard to like
Very hard.
simplify it into
I
one.
mean, like just one word lah. One word. One word. How you see your letter. For me, I see my letter as kind. Like because I struggle with being kind to myself. So this is the letter to remind me to be more kind to myself. So maybe for you guys, it's like one simple word.
Oh, mine is not one. It's love your mess.
Yes, girl, love it.
Your mess.
Love your mess.
It's someone who likes to be in control all the time. Love your mess.
Sometimes it's fine to be like.
Good to be messy. Well, no, it's not. It's it's not good to always be messy, but embrace the mess. You can't have just organization. You need mess as well.
Yeah.
Like you need some bad with good. It's balance.
I think for me, it's a little bit some psychology theory because like, we have the id and super ego and we have the ego. Okay. So my title is called Ego, which is a mix of super ego and id. So id like it's referring to like your pleasure side, like something that you want. So you can see my 3 cars, something I really want. And also like super ego, something it's your kind of say like it's like a little lawyer living in your head is something that would weigh like the good things that you do and stuff. So like I try to be like happy like this girl here, and I have like the pleasing colors. So this is something that it is my super ego, something that I want. So both of these combined will be ego. Right, yeah, so this is my title.
Alright, cool. Alright, it's part of the process.
Yeah,
art therapy, definitely like our art therapy podcast still going, and I hope that every time you guys see our art therapy, you guys learn something or a lot or some way help you to feel that you are not alone in this battle and you guys matter. So like remember that your existence matters, and to be part of the society with undoing all that
the mess, like the
bad side,
yeah,
the bad habits is not easy, definitely. And we human, we do make mistakes, and we usually condone that mistake a lot because that's what the society tends to do. But it's only you that have the power to not punish yourself or like to give that unconditional love to yourself. And I hope that this session have helped you guys to remind that self-worth defined by your own definition without condition.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for our speaker. I hope you guys enjoy the session.
Yeah, definitely.
And thank you as well for our sponsored space here for today. Thank you, UCSI.
UCSI.
Faculty of Communication, right?
Yeah, mass communication.
Thank you, Faculty of Mass Communication, for providing us this space. And this program is under Social Healing Impact Peer Support Sheets, which is supported by Yayasan PM. And if you love whatever that you are doing, please do like, subscribe, comment, leave a comment, or like share this kind of videos to the people that you think might need. And that's all from us. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.